If you love to deadlift, make sure you're not making one of these 5 big mistakes next time you're in the gym. If you're looking to build muscle, get stronger, or just improve as an athlete, deadlifts are an absolutely awesome activity. But here's the thing, if you don't do them right, or if your technique isn't ideal, it can absolutely lead to lower back issues. But here's the thing I want to make very, very clear. It's not the deadlift that's the problem. A lot of times it's somebody's technique when they deadlift that is the actual problem. So today I'm going to share with you 5 of the biggest mistakes I see people make when they get in the gym and they deadlift. Now before we get into this video, take 2 seconds out of your day, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you know each and every week when a new video drops. Now, let's get into these mistakes. All right, so the first mistake I see people make when they deadlift is they're not tight at the start. And it's a little bit hard to show here, but G's gonna try and help us out. So G's gonna step in, and you'll see a lot of newbies, a lot of beginners, when they step in, they're never tight, and so they kind of just jerk the bar up when they get going. They're never set. So what I want you to think about doing is setting your back, and we'll talk about that more in a minute, squeezing your lats right here. You don't have to extend, but just get those lats tight, connect to the bar, and then push through the ground to stand up. Okay, so the second mistake I see people make when they're deadlifting is their back is never set. They're too loose. So G, again, go ahead and step in. And again, unlike a squat where you can kind of pressurize your system, here you have to figure that out on your own. So go ahead and set up, G. Yep. And a lot of times they're gonna kind of be rounded out here. We're not power lifters. Most of us are Gen Pop clients, are athletes. They need to learn how to set their back, think long through their spine. So he's thinking long top to bottom, setting that back, and then pushing through the ground to stand up. Okay, the third mistake I see people make when they deadlift is they're not driving with their legs. If you're a power lifter and you want to use your back and your spine to do this, that's totally cool. More power to you. But for most Gen Pop clients and athletes, they need to set the back and drive with the legs. So G, go ahead and set up in here for me. And what's really important when G sets up, go ahead. Yep. He's got this long spine position. He's thinking about pushing through the floor. You'll hear me use that cue a lot. Push through the floor to drive that weight up. Okay, the fourth mistake I see people make when they deadlift is this mix of their hips come up too fast, so the chest comes over, the back rounds, and everything kind of falls by the wayside. So I'm gonna have G set up here, and it's very important when you deadlift, set your back, make sure your hips are down. That'll help you drive with the legs and then lead with the chest. Okay, so you're not necessarily arching, but again, your chest is the first thing that comes up versus if your chest falls over, you're gonna end up in a bad position and you might end up straining your back. All right, the fifth and final mistake I see people make when they deadlift is they hyperextend either their hips or their lower back at the top. So I'm gonna have G come in here. What you're gonna see a lot of times when somebody's using a trap bar is they have this tendency, they really think about squeezing the cheeks at the top and they're coming too far through, puts a lot of stress on the back and on the hips. So instead what I want you to think about doing is pushing through the floor. When you can't push anymore, that's when the rep stops. So think push through the floor. When you can't push anymore, the bar stops and you come back down. All right, my friends, so those are the 5 biggest mistakes I see people making when they deadlift. But what about you? What mistakes do you see people make? Leave a comment down below. I would love to hear what you're seeing when you're in the gym. And last but not least, if you want to really dial in that trap bar deadlift, make sure you check out this video before you go.